Hey, if you're here watching and you've been watching or you're brand new, thank you.
Thanks for being here.
I feel like I've grown into a cooler person because of you.
I think so too. I think she's gotten cooler because of you guys.
356?
Yeah.
365? Is that one?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
56, 65, somewhere around there.
If that's what you needed at the
400
time,
days a year
okay
I was
too.
smoking. 420 days a year.
50 hours a day.
50, 24, 9.
How does one judge how much their art is worth?
Visual.
How much the art dealer can sell it for.
200.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Holy
you
shit.
too. I'm so excited for
Holy
you.
shit.
I'm at 47. I'm like, fuck.
That's amazing.
Actually, I think it's pretty cool, but
It's so
200,
cool.
I'd say it's harder to be at 47 than it is at 200, though. So it's
And
more
you're
gangster
solo
what you're doing.
town. I mean, I know that you have a team behind you, but like it's
It's
you.
Can you tell me what you mean by that? Like, what is different?
At episode 47, I was closer to giving up than I am now.
Oh.
It's too late now.
It's too late. Like
Yeah.
I've sold the concert tickets. They're coming. The brands
Oh
have
my
paid.
God.
It's too late. I'm fucked. I have to produce this, or else I have to go back on everything I said,
Yeah.
and I'll never do that. I'll never back down.
Yeah.
So like 47, I'm like, no one will notice if I stop.
Yeah.
Because also remember, Winnie wouldn't share to her story. The first year, she was still living in the stigma. Not only
Of
was it
weed.
not
I
good.
totally get that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
she
I
won't share.
appreciate
that.
But then once she got on board, it got easier. Then people started to like us. It got easier.
Well, it just
Then-
gets
Yes.
familiar over time. All of a
does.
sudden, you're like, oh, it's okay if I'm smoking.
Yeah.
That's just an adult choice, you know? It's an adult choice. I'm an adult.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about the stigma of weed. I was
Yeah.
talking about the stigma of sex.
But same thing, same
That's-
feeling.
It is
same
it is
feeling.
a similar.
And same by Instagram.
Yes.
Same like we removed that because you're
Yeah.
fucking dirty. And I'm like, yo, I'm going to stay here even stronger now. You've just motivated me more.
Yeah.
I want to keep all of this
I know,
as part
we're
of the
just
episode.
we're natural flow.
Welcome to Disciplined Stoners, the gateway drug to mindfulness.
We're here to learn. We're here to grow.
And welcome back to another episode of Disciplined Stoners. I'm your host, 11.
My name is Winnie.
And we are the gateway drug to mindfulness. And today...
This is our first number 3 guest.
Oh
do you
my
mean?
God.
What's a
You're
first
our
number?
first threesome.
Oh my God.
You've been on the show 3 times now. This is your
Oh
third
my-
time on the show.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so-
that is exciting. And if we were a threesome, it would be an FFM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although
yeah.
I'm thinking that that's probably not the right
I should be in the middle.
combination.
But we'll highlight you today.
Well, we can figure it out. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's FFM can work in a lot of ways.
This episode, I'm going to just give the audience something. You're noticing it because the title is already 200 and you've seen that. But this is a very special episode. We're starting it with our friend Michelle, who is a certified sex therapist and has her own podcast that we love called Get Some. And this is her 3rd time returning on the show. And everyone in this room has a crush on her, and you will too. So we just want to keep flowing into life as we were just chatting, but I thought I'd give you your introduction.
Oh my God. That
Welcome
is
back.
such a nice introduction. And you know what? I love crushes.
I know. They're the best.
I live for
I love a good
crushes.
little
Me too.
crush.
Right? Like, I just think it kind of keeps the energy flowing inside
Creative.
of you.
100%. Yeah. And being in a 16-year-old relationship, like I feel like I never have like a moment where I'm like, oh, I'm going to leave my man for this guy. Like I never have that. But I can see both of us have like friendship crushes and just little, they're so nice.
There's something healthy about it.
Yeah.
If
think
only
so.
you, one of them was a sex professional who could help guide our emotions.
Okay. Also, if you haven't watched Michelle's other 2
Which you have.
episodes, go back and please listen to those because there are just some bangers in there.
Oh my God, and you guys have been on my on Get Some as well,
Yeah.
right?
I loved our conversation on
Yeah.
yours. So we got a history together. You can go back and see it already.
I love
Yeah.
what you're doing. I get your weekly emails. You gave for free everybody a free sexual shame module.
Oh, thank you for putting this into the universe, man, because people deal with sexual shame and it's weird and it shouldn't be and it's a fucking lie. It's a lie, we were told. Sorry, I didn't mean to stomp on your.
No, that's okay.
Your
I
gush
I
fest.
really I appreciate that you exist.
Oh, I thank you.
And
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people look at us and
Mm.
say that we're like pretty openly sexual. And
Yeah.
like if you go back 200 episodes, that wasn't the case.
I'm gonna do that. I love that shit.
We like early on in the podcast, we wanted to like talk about sex, and we're like, "Fucking let's do it." And then we got onto this microphone, and we're like, "The people are gonna listen to this." Like,
Yeah.
we are not ready, so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
taken a really long
Yeah.
time. But I am really like, I'm even bringing it into my comedy now. I'm really, really passionate about sexual health.
Sex is important.
Because like in my 20s, it just wasn't awesome for me. You know, there wasn't an emphasis on pleasure.
I feel like we talked about this.
I was
last
awesome
time,
to her,
right?
for the record.
You were.
Yeah,
He always would make me come. Like
I'd never
like,
back down.
Yeah, he wouldn't back down. It would take. He'd be down eating me out for like an hour.
Feel
That
this-
is-
feel
I
it-
have to
feel-
say-
Sorry, feel it right here. See my neck? It's permanent.
Oh God. I think the sexiest thing is when someone says to you, "I am down here I'll be down here
2
all
hours.
day."
I know it's
2
so
hours.
nice.
Oh my God, it's
3
like,
hours.
and then
Yeah, because all
Yeah,
of a sudden
then
you
it-
release
then-
the
the pressure.
Yeah.
There's no pressure, and
'Cause
you're just like,
There is some point. It's like past the 20-minute mark where you're like, if I'm not getting there, this
Yeah.
like I'm not sure. And I've said that a lot of times. Like maybe this just isn't.
I get psyched because the vagina changes.
what do you mean?
The wetter it gets, the lips change and evolve, and the clit comes out the hood, and
Things start-
and secretion happens, and the literal shape of the vagina, if you like move
Wait,
it and look at it,
come on.
it evolves.
Okay, so this is,
And I love changing.
these-
So as an
wait,
artist,
so-
I love changing things.
Wait,
I'll show you. Winnie, lie down.
wait. So during a sexual encounter,
As I'm eating
as
puss.
you're eating her pussy,
Yeah.
you are starting to see like her lips change.
Yeah,
like,
it's all together and dry
and
at
then
first.
Swell.
and then it starts to swell.
It gets
and then,
pinker.
Like, you see because the blood flow.
And then like, not to get like too deep here, I wouldn't say like smell, but there's just some sort of pheromone connection probably with the
Yes.
secretion that's happening. It's all like clean, it doesn't smell bad, but
No.
it's like I don't know. It's just like this thing is evolving, so it's like drawing me in further. So like, yes, my neck. The joke when I made you touch my neck was like a permanent kink, because you're like this.
Oh my
That
gosh.
was the joke. Because
okay.
like,
I thought it was just about her hands
And-
being there, like, don't move, don't move.
No. No, I grabbed your hand. I was trying to show you. The
Okay.
joke didn't fly. Don't do touchy jokes, by the way, on a podcast. It doesn't work. But like,
ever.
right? Or
Maybe.
ever. It's true. It's like right here. It's you'd be like that.
Oh my god.
So then you gotta like evolve your way
Yeah.
of doing things.
Have you guys ever used a pillow to help with the neck
Of course,
thing?
we've recently explored many ways with
Lots
the pillow.
yeah, pillows are a great tool
Pillows
in
are
the
great.
bedroom.
Yeah.
They're not only for sleeping, folks.
No, I know. Some
Certainly
people will
not
say,
sleeping.
"Oh, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable." And when you talk about a pillow or using something to make it more comfortable, it's like, "Oh, I didn't even think about that."
Because I thought I had to like do this swiftly and get it done in a certain
Yes,
time
and I
frame.
had to look
So-
like they do in the porn.
Yeah,
videos.
that's when you talk about the 20s, like it's not unlike that for me. I just fucking stuck to it in my divine masculine toxic. I'm gonna be in pain and
Well,
not
And we didn't communicate nearly as much in our
Yeah.
20s at all, so it was very like we have such a fun time in the bedroom now. It's like it's so much lighter, and I don't think a lot of people are having that. So I was that as I was saying, I was bringing it up in my comedy to let women know like this is a normal thing to feel pain during sex, like to not feel horny. Like I had no libido through my 20s because I was on the pill. I just want people to know like there's other options, and that pleasure is like should really be a priority in your life.
So I agree with everything, and I think that the pain piece is not something that should be endured.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess normal
Yeah.
is not the right word for that. But
And the only reason I say that is because unfortunately some people get told, whether it's by like a medical person,
nobody trusts them anymore.
when they're having sex for the first time, or like they're feeling a lot of pain, sometimes they'll say, well, that's kind of part of it. if you're experiencing pain, it's your brain telling you that something isn't right and to stop. So sometimes people will kind of push through, and I think there's other ways to go around, like figuring out why there's pain, right? Like what's going on? Is it that there's no lube? Is it that like there is tension in the pelvic area? But
I
yeah.
hear you.
I guess when I said pain is normal, I feel like what I wanted
Pivot
to say
from
is
it.
like I know that women experience pain during sex,
Oh my
and
God,
they do,
yes.
and they endure it. Like a
Yes.
lot
Don't
of us
endure it.
do that
Yes.
because we weren't given anything to tell us that
And we
that's
thought it
not
was
what we were supposed to experience.
We thought it was supposed to hurt.
Yeah.
Like I mean, as somebody who, well, we don't call it losing your virginity anymore. I'm going to your sexual debut. We like to call it now. Yeah.
That's a neat way to say
Right?
it.
But like as a younger person, when people talked about their sexual debut, it was like, yeah, it's going to hurt and you're going to bleed. And I'm not saying that it doesn't happen.
But that's
It often happens because you're freaking nervous,
Yeah.
right? And you're just like, bah! And so you kind of like tense up. But then some people just continue to feel it, and then they think that's what sex is, and then sex doesn't become something that's pleasurable anymore. It just becomes like something to give somebody else,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, and that's I really don't appreciate that about the classic story that women have been put into. I mean, when you're discussing previous engagements, it's like frustrating for me because it's like, as women, you think you just have to like give it to the guy and like let him rip and like take it and just like
Yeah.
endure pain. It's like, that's disgusting. That's rapey. That's seated in rapiness. And that's like, no. You have to like communicate back and forth. So if the whole dick going in hurts, start with just the head. Or like, you know, you gotta like communicate like just the little bits. I love how by you being here, you give us like spiritually full permission just to rip on every angle of sex.
Oh yeah,
Like, just by
and-
being.
But then there are some people that enjoy the sensation of pain.
Sure.
Right?
And then rock on.
And that's amazing. Go for it, right?
Oh my gosh.
But
What's it called? Say,
Are we talking like
Yeah,
just
like
pain,
sexual pain. Or-
like in the BDSM realm?
say it in it.
That's so.
Sadist?
Masochism
Masochism,
is when
that's
you,
what I'm
I
thinking.
think, do it to yourself, and then
Masochism.
sadism is
Sadism.
to the other
Others.
person. And I'm really hoping
Oh.
I'm correct with that one.
Yeah, but that's okay. We'll fact check it.
Sadistic means like, yeah, that's when it's usually towards somebody else.
Yeah, burning candles. I've never tried any of that.
And like, yeah, I agree with that too. Because recently,
Candle
I've
wax.
just kind of been exploring, like opening up more and like letting go more. And there's a difference between like I'll experience pain still. That hasn't gone away.
Yeah.
Like there are positions where I'm like, oh, this
Exactly.
isn't.
Then you
bef-
change a position,
Yeah.
or you do something, or you're like,
when you're
Yeah.
open.
Yeah, well, and then so it's like, let's fix this
Yeah.
now. Like as soon as I feel that and I'm uncomfortable, I'm like, well, no more of this. That's we're done with that. That's in the past. And then there's also moments where there's you know, maybe some twisting or slapping or some hard activity going on where I do feel a sense of pain, but it's also like simultaneously bringing me a lot of pleasure.
well, yes, exactly. And like what we aren't talking about too is penis size.
Yeah.
If somebody has a really large penis,
Yeah, let's talk about it.
then yeah, like, you know, the vaginal canal is only so long. It's going to start hitting the cervix. Some people love that sensation, and other people are like, get it away from me. It's really cool because they have these contraptions. No, they're like rubber layers that a guy who's very well endowed can put on the base of their penis while it's hard, so that it doesn't
in.
It doesn't go inside all the way.
That's like with the
So
hand.
then you can like.
That's when you hold the hand there and it doesn't.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so it's like.
Or what are you trying to say?
And the blowjob she just want to take it all the way down where you hold the hand there. It's basically like stops from the shaft going all the way in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like stop. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's an
Where can you get
Great.
these?
Oh my God,
Sex
why
shops, I
am?
imagine?
Yeah, and I can't remember the name of it, but I'll pass that on to you.
Well, we'll get some ad dollars from those companies, and we'll talk
Yeah,
about
I
it.
guess you can.
I'll give you first-hand reviews.
With Get Some, can you do affiliate links and stuff?
First-hand reviews? Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't quite got there yet, but I can do affiliate links.
Okay,
yes.
cool. So
Look
that's
for-
not like disrupting any of your client.
Oh no, so
relation.
like Get Some is a separate entity from my private practice,
Okay.
right? So my private practice is what
a
I
doctor.
do. That I'm not a doctor. I'm not.
what I'm saying.
I have a master's of social work and I'm a certified sex therapist. I am not a doctor though. But I have to separate them out. And Get Some is more about taking everything that I've learned. It's not about doing therapy. And
Okay, cool, yeah.
yeah. So the Get Some is very much about what I've learned as a sex therapist and
As a person.
as a human, as a person, and what I have learned through all of these years is that shame is the number one cause for people to be experiencing conflict and uncomfortable feelings when it comes to sex. And that as much as I might give somebody all these different, techniques and this and that, they just aren't going to land. People are not going to do their homework unless they understand why they have resistance to doing it, what is holding them back. And so that is then why I was like, okay, I think it's like I'm figuring it out, and it's taken me a long time, but it's almost so easy that I almost missed it.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it. It's often so simple. The truth is often so simple.
Yeah.
You get to accumulate all these different perspectives and reasonings and whys and cases,
Okay.
and then bring
Yeah.
your attention towards one motive.
So then tell us about this module you've created for people.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
Shame.
what it is, and it can be self-guided or it can be done while you're working with a therapist. It begins with talking about what shame is, right? I talk about it as being the foundation of healthy sexuality. So you have to understand, if you're having resistance, what it is. And oftentimes it's shame. But then some people get shame and guilt mixed up, right? Where guilt is when you've done something bad, and shame is when you think you are bad. Like there's something wrong with you. I'm broken. I'm not whatever attractive enough. I'm just not a sexual person type of thing. Someone didn't give me the roadmap, right? And so what it is
They don't believe in themselves.
yeah, so there's like these 4 lessons where I talk about what's the difference between sex and guilt, and then
What's the difference between sex and guilt?
or not sex and guilt, shame and guilt.
See, I'm glad I said that and you heard it.
Yes, thank you.
That was God.
And then it's trying to
Big difference between sex and guilt.
Yes, totally.
They shouldn't be associated at all. What are you, a Catholic priest?
and then it kind of takes you on a bit of an exploratory journey where you start to look at where yours might be, and then during that journey we also learn about mindfulness. Right? Which is the most important skill that you can learn as a human, I believe, but definitely when it comes to your sex life. And then it's about rewriting your narrative, right? We come into our sexuality and we think it just is what it is, and these are the cards that we've been dealt, but actually you can switch it into thinking about it in a different way, but you need to know where you want to go. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, I just want to not feel pain anymore, or I just want to like have desire." Okay, well, like let's get a bit more of an understanding of where you want to go, and then we talk about like how are we going to get there. And so that is when. Yeah, you're going to start using mindfulness, where you might, if you're afraid of dating, maybe you're going to like start taking little steps towards the goal, but you always need to know where you want to go. Otherwise you get lost and people will often give up. And then
Wow.
they just kind of are like, ugh.
Oh, and then they just sit in that shame, and then they're like,
Don't
I'm a broken
give
person.
up.
Don't give
Don't
up.
give up.
Don't give up.
If someone does want to go into dating, not to make such a literal reference, like
Yeah.
those little baby steps, what I mean, I guess it varies per person,
Yeah.
but like what are some of those steps when someone wants to get
Yeah.
back into dating?
Yeah, In my practice, I'm working with people. There's two kind of groups. One are people who have a lot of anxiety about dating and have very little sexual experience.
Virgins.
Well, in a religious, yes, if you want to call it that. But
in the bro science that I live in, you got the virgins.
so they might be, or they might have had a sexual experience
Right.
that was not good, and so they've really like got a lot of anxiety around feeling safe. So I have that, and then I have a group of people who are really, really wanting to like have a family, get married, have kids, and like there's a sense of urgency, and especially if you would be the one carrying the baby, there is a window of fertility, and so I will get people that are right at the window or even in it and kind of freaking out. And so what it is, and so everyone's avoiding dating or they hate it, and we take little steps like, okay, let's start to research which might be the dating app that is a
Best
good
for
fit
you.
for you, because there are different
Oh
ones,
my goodness.
right?
Because there's some interesting things on those apps going on. Our last guest here was saying that he got, he's paid for a lot of dinners for people that had no intention of actually spending any more time with him.
Well,
but yeah, you got to choose which ones are right for you. I think that was
And
Tinder
I think
specifically.
a lot of people date wrong.
Right.
I
Ooh,
don't
talk
think
about it.
I don't think they date right.
Please.
In that people talk about wasting their time. They went on this date and it was bad.
Yeah.
I think that there needs to be some key communication, like questions, and also think personality, how people express themselves, how much time they're willing to give you. If somebody's just like, yeah, no, yeah, okay, let's just meet.
Yeah.
And you have no sense of what their personality is, if they're funny. Depends on what's important
You
to
got to
you,
chat.
right?
You got to vibe.
Don't go out with somebody who you don't know whether or not they want to have kids if you want to have kids, because I see people who are like, they have a sense that the person doesn't want to have kids, they want kids, but they're just happy there's a connection, and then 2 years later they end up in my office because they realize that one person doesn't want to have kids and the other one does, and so then it's like,
Is that an intense question, do you think, off the top? We haven't been in the dating world for so long that, like, if you're on a site and you're like, hey, I'm interested, we both swiped whichever way that makes that happen.
Yeah.
And, like, is that like an offside question? Like, hey,
no.
do you want kids?
I think you put it in your profile. I think people need to be honest about what they want
Their goals, yeah.
in their profile.
Because there's going to be other people who want those same things.
Yeah.
I see them.
Yeah, you can communicate it.
I see them. Sometimes I wish I could start a dating service with like my people, right? But obviously I
Wait.
can't because that's breaking
She got the
confidentiality.
plug
I
on
would
the
never
back
do
end,
that.
though. Holler at your
But
girl.
you could start a Get Some dating service.
Could you imagine?
I would love that for you.
Oh my God, I love that for me.
You know
too.
what you could do? You
We
could
just put it
throw
out
an
in the
event.
universe.
You could throw an event that's basically like a singles mingle vibe that you just know, and then you could work your magic. But people got to pay like $500 a ticket,
Oh fuck.
just so you only keep the richies together. I'm just kidding.
It's like trying to get on that dating site called Raya.
Yeah.
Raya. Have you heard about it before?
You're marketed as a model who can
you
only.
pretty much have to be famous to get on it.
Yeah. But
But-
imagine trying to date as like Steve-O, though. You know, like you have.
Being famous puts a whole different
It's
It
weird.
would be really difficult. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
then my people who have a lot of anxiety around dating, sometimes it is, let's write your profile. Next session, come in. We're going to go through your profile. Then it's like, okay, now you're going to upload the profile, but you can keep it private. Then it's like, okay, it's there. Now maybe you want to make it unprivate. Then somebody sends them a message. They freak out. They don't open their messages. So then when we're in our work, so a lot of it is exposure therapy. But then they might read the message because they're afraid. What they are afraid of, it always comes down to, what am I going to do if they want to have sex with me?
Have sex with them.
Not if you don't want to, though.
Oh, true.
There is this expectation that they need to jump in bed.
Oh, yeah,
with
you don't
people.
have to. You
And I'm always like, I think there's some people that want to, and that's awesome, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
And being able to help people feel confident enough, like we'll practice with, and what if they say this? What are you going to say, right? What if they say, hey, do you want to come back to my place? How are we going to navigate that? And they might say, oh, you're lovely. I am attracted to you, but maybe
we do a
we
second.
meet up again.
I gotta
and
get
we'll
to
see
know
how
you
it
a little
goes,
bit
right?
more. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. That's great. Isn't that the way? Don't you think?
I think that the only way is your way.
Is
And
your
when
way.
people give all these different, like, this is how you have to do it.
Right.
No, it's not.
Yucky.
That is maybe a template.
Yeah.
But it's so much more complex.
Well, and people often don't know their way until they're in the situation where they need to make a decision, right? They need to, and they
Yes.
need to be clear.
Yeah.
See
And I
how
think
that
people that
feels.
deal with shame a lot of times
Yeah.
are unable to make decisions and be clear
Yeah.
because they're like, I'm bad, I'm the bad one, I'm the fuck up here. So like, I shouldn't be making, like, I don't know how to even go there.
Yeah. The other problem, I'm sorry, I'm talking, I love this topic. Is this the other problem about what people do with dating is they try to give the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't
They're
lie.
Not,
Don't
they're
lie.
not themselves. They are guarded, and it's like a job interview. Do you
Yeah.
want kids? Do you want this? Do you want that? Let's just go in like you're going to meet a friend on a date. There is no pressure.
Yeah.
Right? You don't do anything that you don't want to do. You do not ever have, I think, a dinner date with somebody on the first, if you haven't
Right.
met them yet.
I
And that's what
agree.
I said.
Go
to,
get a
to my
coffee,
like,
drink.
if I want to know you as a person, like we're going for a walk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? That's
the
just
best-
what the fuck it is. I want to see
That's
how you
the
move your
best
body.
date.
I want to, and I will learn
100%.
so much about you by just how you walk.
Yes.
And
And
how
that's-
you move. But
yeah,
when you're
I
out
agree.
and you're at a restaurant, you know what it feels like to be at a restaurant?
Correct.
Even where we met, I'm being watched. Because you are.
Yeah.
Thank God that's how we met. But
I
like,
know.
you are fucking
but we
being
were
watched.
sort of sitting next to each
At the
other.
bar kind of thing. But I'm just saying, I was
Yeah.
I was aware I was
Yeah.
being watched.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm specifically too authentic for life. I think the only time I change my character is when I go past customs. I just act like a soldier. I'm just like, yes, sir. Just no
That's
artist
true.
here. But yeah, like basically, you're right. When you try to, especially if you go to a nice place for dinner, what? No.
Ugh. And imagine
no.
you don't like you're like, ooh, I was wrong, and then you have to sit there, and then you get people on their phones in the bathroom being
No.
like, oh my god, I don't want to be here, la 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 la. I think
dip.
I think people need to have a little bit more communication before.
What about things like farting? Because in the first 3
Yeah.
months, 11 did not. There was no peep. There was nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that he farted. The first time he farted around me, I was like, "Holy shit! You've been hiding this." For
Had you farted
3
in front of
months."
him first?
I don't remember
Yeah.
at this point.
At the time, I was lactose intolerant, still having milk.
Oh no.
And I had a protein that was milk based,
God.
and this was a problem. And
He
when he
sent
was
my
like,
dad out of his own kitchen.
I made her
with his
family
asshole.
evacuate
Oh
their
my
own kitchen, and I'm just like, it's a stomach issue.
Yeah.
But she
I'm
accepted
mostly
me, moved past it.
joking. No, my dad had bad farts too. So
I know
No
somebody,
farting on the first date, at least for the first couple weeks.
Somebody was telling me that they've been married, I think, like 25 years, and they've never heard their wife fart.
I know a friend who doesn't fart.
fuck?
She says she doesn't fart. I'm like, fuck you. Wow. Like,
You're a
yes, you
She
human.
probably burps like a trucker.
Sailor.
I think she
Sailor
just
trucker.
farts at
Trucker.
her own in her own space.
But
Yeah,
there's shame.
yeah.
Isn't there shame with that if you're like keeping in your farts or like whatever?
Well, I think it's embarrassment because there's fear that somebody's not going to like you. It
A
feels
fart
vulnerable,
can be
right?
rancid.
But it is it is such a funny thing.
And
It
I think
is
farting
funny.
is funny.
I think when a couple can
It's all about the clear
get
out
over
game.
that,
Yeah.
then it's really great.
You gotta have a quick clear out game.
You fart in public
Open the
now,
door.
and I just think it's the funniest shit. But I also am embarrassed about it. Like, I think it's so funny, and I'm also like, I can't believe you do that.
Do you ever watch those videos where it's like some guy and he like has
the little
he fart yeah, and then
Yeah.
you see people walk by and they're dying of laughter.
I do that in real life. I do that without the machine.
Farts are funny.
What are you gonna do?
I
Wow.
mean, we're probably going over a bit over time.
Oh yeah,
This
shit.
no, we did like a half episode. Fuck those other people. Well, they get half an episode because we got to talk about sex and farts with you.
Yeah. Is there anything really important that the people should know, Michelle?
Drop a gem.
No, but find me about what, sex or me?
Anything.
Both sex and
well,
you.
Tomorrow's the Pride Parade. I'm super excited. I'm gonna wear my rainbow shirt.
Are you coming?
Of course.
Okay.
Are you gonna be there?
We march in the parade every
marching
year.
Oh
the
my
parade,
god.
yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll watch out for
On
you.
behalf of the cannabis community,
I love
R.I.P.
that.
Tracy. Tracy. Yeah.
Yay.
Tracy Curley.
Yeah, and if you like what you see,
Yeah.
getsome.ca, or I'd love you to follow me on Instagram, which is getsome_podcast. And if you're struggling with shame and you kind of aren't ready for therapy, but you're curious about it, just go on my website and you'll find your way to the education page where it will give you more information about shame and the module.
Highly recommend. Get on her email list. It's just like
yeah, do that.
Yeah,
fun.
even since I've known you, I've felt more comfortable just to know that like there's a woman out there who like loves sex and wants to talk about it.
Did I
alone.
tell you that I loved sex?
Yeah, just by being. You didn't have
You
to
never,
say it.
you never did.
Have I ever
actually.
told you I
That
love
was
hip
an
hop?
I think it's
assumption.
probably assumed or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yes. I mean, I think.
I would hope that you enjoy it.
I know. It's the one thing that our body can give us that we don't have to pay for.
It's magic.
And it's just, we can create it, we can make it happen on our own.
Yeah.
And it's such a great feeling.
Yeah. Don't
Right?
forget self-pleasure.
Self-pleasure's great.
yeah.
May was
Self-
masturbation month. We took
Yes.
advantage of that.
Good
Yeah.
for you.
Stroked that a lot. A lot of stroking in May. Mother may I.
And what is it called? Why do we call it flicking?
Flicking the bean.
Have you ever heard
I
that?
don't know, but it sounds horrible.
Yeah, don't
It's
flick
not
the
a
bean.
flick.
But what I wonder if it comes from, I heard the story of like in hospital sometimes where guys are being changed, men, like older men, and sometimes they'll get an erection and then the nurse will just be like, "Dunk," and it's for it to go down. So,
Holy
but
shit.
the flicking the bean,
Flicking is to decrease.
whoever came up with flicking the bean obviously did not know what they were talking about.
No, I don't. I never
Counterclockwise,
flick
smooth
my
and touching the bean.
That's Winnie's recipe.
I'm actually
and they're
a
all-
clockwise gal. I'm not counterclockwise.
But to you, but
Do you
then
pay
to me.
attention to that?
It's
Like
all-
the.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it right?
mechanics.
I don't. There's some. I love
I'm clockwise
talking to, I love talking
always.
to people. I don't
I'm
even
never
know what I am.
counterclockwise.
I don't know what I am
for myself. No, I would never be counterclockwise. It would always be clockwise. For
Oh
myself.
yes. Okay. What's this?
Yeah.
What's this?
That's clockwise.
Clockwise, okay.
For you. I guess for the opposite
For the
person.
opposite, it'd be the
yeah, if you're
opposite.
being eaten out and it's a tongue situation,
Oh yeah.
it would
Then
be.
yeah. I can't even do that. That's math or
No,
something.
it'd still be. Whatever.
Still be-
Yeah, I can't
Oh,
either.
but
I'm
what about
confused
in
now.
69?
I don't know. I'm
Anyway.
confused.
Hey, I'm kind of horny, so this is great. Thanks so much for coming by, Michelle.
Did my job.
Yeah, you did. Episode 200 started with this lovely, glowing,
Yay.
We love
beautiful
you
face.
so much. Thank
Thank you so much. So appreciate you.
Bye,
Love you.
everybody.
I just dropped a hot joint back here.
Oh no.
Yo,
Welcome back.
that would kick Michelle out of here.
Yeah, we had to get her out.
We're getting
It was getting too.
spicy.
Spicy.
All of us were getting horny. I'm sorry, I went.
That's actually.
I have to go there.
You do have to go there, and that's funny, but that's actually like not true, right? Like that's the thing. Also, I think why I was scared about talking about sex for so long was that like if I talked about sex, it meant I like had to have it.
It's in concrete. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's not true. It's funny. It can exist in the mind.
Yeah.
But the mind does eventually stimulate the body. And
I love that episode 200 this is how it's beginning.
I know. It's like welcome. So we just like came on us because we got to talk about what it's been like to build this and like everything.
Yeah.
And like holy.
And no one else has fucking showed up yet. Where the fuck are you guys?
We love you guys so much. I made this big alumni group and people just like maybe watch the video and then just like Joe
and we
was like, I
also
love
invited
you.
people just yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, mine was like 2 weeks ago or something. But 200 episodes, almost 4 years, 200 weekly episodes. This is almost 4 years, 52 weeks a year.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So I think one of the biggest things was for me starting this podcast was me really just like it helped me come out as a cannabis consumer and user. And through the 4 years, I've not only like been okay with being a cannabis consumer, but now I'm really proud of it, you know, and now I want to advocate for it. Also did the Global Cannabis March this year. That was the first time that I've done that. And I really feel like connected to the advocacy is not the right word, but the promotion. And
The community. At the end of the day, I
Yeah.
think it's been really cool to hear Winnie come from acting and me come from music. And us be like, well, we definitely have industry and culture and friends, but like to feel connected to a community like the cannabis community, it's really unlike any other
Yeah.
that either of us are a part of. So
And
it's
I
been
just
great
love the diversity within the community. Like, and I guess recently I'm like, fuck, I'm a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Like, I've always known that, but like, and I've never really felt
We're all
a
about-
huge sense of community besides my yoga community.
we're all like outcasts.
Yeah.
But you bend yourself a bit for the yoga community, don't you?
Yeah, I get to be 100% stoner Winnie around my community. So thank you. Hey, if you're here watching and you've been watching or you're brand new, thank you.
Thanks for being here.
I feel like I've grown into a cooler person
I think
because of you.
I think so too. I think
you.
she's gotten cooler because of you guys. Yeah.
I'm really proud of us. What do you have like a big like what's your kind of obvious from the start of this podcast to now?
Don't listen to anyone. Don't listen to anyone. When you want to go somewhere, just fucking go. Because like what's funny is I'm still standing in a similar energetic position as when we started, even though I've evolved as a person. I'm just like, yeah, like disciplined stoners has to exist, whether I have to produce it or not, because I didn't get that. And because I didn't have that to look at, or something, some respectable form of media that was also just like, help me with life, I think. Like the philosophy edge that comes into the show, no matter who we talk to, is my favorite part of it. And yeah, I'm just basically like doubling down, working for God. And sometimes everyone says like, hey, this is cool. And sometimes everything's silent, no one cares. And either way, I'm just like, this has to exist. Like, because I stayed in the closet, shame about weed. I didn't even try it full time for a long time because I thought it was just one thing. And it's not. It's a lot of things. And we just get to uncover what the fuck those things are.
Nice.
That's so fun. So I'm just here like, you know, some days brands, you know, want to work with us. Some days, you know, whatever. Like it's solo. And like I've, not to constantly go to this, but like I've appreciated your continuous unraveling of participation in this since it started. Winnie thinks she named it. We're just giving like trivia. And then I produced it for we produced it for 33 episodes I did before we had our first guest. So
Thank you. A lot of windows.
yeah.
And so now sometimes I'm up, no matter what time I go to sleep, I'm up at like 7 a.m. Like not by choice, and then I'll get up and I'll, you know, go use the bathroom or something and be like, you're already up. Let's just see if we can bang out that half an hour.
Oh.
And I bang
Do
it
you
out.
meditate? First thing in the morning? Or no,
No.
you have an interesting relationship with meditation. You don't meditate regularly.
I don't.
That blows my mind.
don't.
He's just this nice. What the fuck?
So going
What the
back
fuck?
Like we made it through over half a year, just us, just audio.
Yeah.
First.
And we had a deal, man. At the beginning, I was like, I'll do this, but I'm not doing anything. Like, I'm going to show up and talk to you.
And that's it.
you agreed.
I agreed. So that's like a little bit like in-house. It's like I've always wanted us to present evenly and equally and be perceived as like equal participants and owners in it. But like I had to kind of keep my thuggery about me in the beginning where I was like, okay. And just like hold it down and turn the hamster wheel and still like look up and smile like, oh, it's just us having a good time. Sometimes people are like, who produces your show? And I'm like, me. Like, and it's like when you call me and you're like, hey, maybe we can just hang out or I'll swing by, and it's like, cool, sure, but you'll be sitting next to me editing. I still edit the show and I love it. And it's like, and when I say still, it's like I still think we're babies. Like, I don't plan to reach my head and really, or lift my head, as I say, as a football metaphor. Like, I don't plan to check in on where I am in the field until I get to like episode 500.
Yeah.
I think that's been my kind of thing the whole time. So people are like, ooh, 200, that's exciting. I broke my dad's balls when, like, I was in a bit of a funny mood, but he was like, and are you guys going to keep going? And I was like, are you fucking, what a fucking stupid question. Like, I was like, I got mad viscerally because I'm like, you dare challenge me? Are you trying to make me do this for fucking another century? Because, like, yeah, like, I think I feed off of uncertainty and like making something out of it. And then when someone wants to like paint it in a certain light, even if it's positive, I'm like, sure, maybe. But all I know is like I'm gonna get those cuts tighter. Like, you know, I'm in the game, so I'm just grateful to be in the game.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Rob.
Our executive producer is back in the
This
house.
guy, we get to hang out with our friend Rob.
Yes, sir.
Thank
What?
you.
Come on! This is a big celebration. Bless you. I tried to take it too. I would have done an unboxing of our lunch. Oh, bless Rob. Yeah, I mean, the podcast has been a great avenue to hang out with Rob.
Yeah.
Me and him just used to split ounces. Great photographer from the city.
Sit in this beautiful art gallery.
Yeah, and it's just art. It's OG art energy all around, so it's easy to keep on track and believe in our dreams too. And like, you know, there's magical thing. Rob has a magical way of breathing belief too. We always jam after the show, so that's always fun. And also pragmatism, you know? I can't get too ahead of yourself. It's good. A lot of wisdom that comes from being in this space, and that's always been enjoyable. And the guests feel it too.
Yeah.
When we come, it's elevated. So yeah, like episode 100, as you were saying, which is hilarious. We kept it up. The guest is a lady who has flipped on us since. I didn't even watch the video, so I don't know what everyone was talking about. But like, regardless, I'm just like, God bless everyone who's been on the show. And we've had another guest that's, and I just keep them up. Because they're important. They're important parts of, like, I don't care. Like, I'm sorry, you may be mad at me, but I'm not mad at you. Like, that's what's funny about it. And you've only contributed to the depth of my show, of our show, and your show. And I want everyone in the cannabis community, or anyone who I guess I feel like needs this show. Like, this is your show. Like, and if you've ever been on it, you're an alumni. Like,
And like we just
part of the culture.
I think part of what we're attempting to put out there is people with different belief systems.
Yeah, we want diversity of
know.
thought. We want even if you don't like us, you know, we have friends in the industry, and it was funny because after a while, one of them you could see, you know, bought into me earlier because I'm a little much to handle, and the other one eventually was like, I was like, this is about 11 at first, and I'm like, I knew it, you know. And it's like, there's even people who we become friends eventually, or we become business partners in some capacity.
Or if we don't become friends,
that's
like,
okay too.
We can live in more respect.
Yeah, like it doesn't
what we've
have to
been doing.
get dramatic. I think people feel when it's hard as a human when you feel misunderstood. But what's been fun about me and my people who decide not to like me is I'm like, well, yes, you're probably right. They're like, you stole a client from me. I'm like, yeah, I did. They're like, you're not a good friend. I guess not. I'm a better business person than a friend to the average person, for sure. I speak to more people in the capacity of a business professional than I do speak to friends. I can count those on this. And I'm just not mad at that. You know, I'm just not mad if someone's like, you're an asshole. I'm like, yeah, maybe. Like, that's okay. So I think when I see people freak out, it's because they feel misunderstood. But I'm like, no, I'm understood. I just don't particularly like you, so I never talk to you. And then you felt the distance from that. And then you're like, he's an asshole, he never talks to me. And I'm like, yeah, if that's how you feel. Because all these people I did talk to fucking think I'm great. So I got that going for me. So I'm just going to keep going there. And it's you don't have to take it personally.
Yeah, I guess it would be one thing if like you didn't have anyone that was like, you're a good guy.
No, I have 90% that. So I just got to focus on that.
Yeah, and also if there cannot
so
be a level
cocky.
of respect for whatever reason, then just like fucking don't even let that person penetrate your brain anymore.
Yeah, like
know?
I know I live rent free in some people's heads, but it's like we're at the same event.
You live rent free in my head and in my house.
Free? Oh, that was good. That was funny. I love that.
Okay.
Nice.
Do you want to eat some pad thai?
Yeah, let's get the fuck off here. I just
Thank
bragged
you.
about my confidence for 10 minutes.
Number
Bye.
2, a 200 episode. I love that. We're here for it.
It's so weird being on this side of the.
Welcome to the show, Rob. Yes. We got our executive producer, Rob.
Yes, welcome. Rob is an art curator, and we get to shoot in his art gallery.
In his studio.
Yeah. in his
Welcome,
studio.
Rob.
That's the art right back there.
Tell us about this art. We've never had
Oh,
this
it's from-
conversation
no, we haven't.
online.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, and
Yeah.
and thanks for
letting us
letting
shoot it here.
Create here.
Oh, I love it. The place gets used.
I
That's
know.
great.
We did
Yeah.
smoke-a-thon here.
Oh,
that was
wonderful.
it was wonderful.
We turned on the.
I
fire.
don't know if the smoke alarm still works after that.
I hope so. We took off the plastic bag.
So we've there's been a so far show here.
Yes.
There's been you've been involved in Toronto art for a long time, and yeah, can you just tell us what this space was before we started shooting the podcast here?
Oh, the art gallery still exists. Even
Yes.
during the podcast with John's work behind me.
Yeah.
John used to work with a guy called Carl Sagan, which
Most people will know.
most
or
people over 30 know.
Yeah,
But under 30, it's
that's fair.
it's just hit and miss.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Voyager 2 and the Golden Album, and John worked on those.
Yeah.
So I show his space art and have for 20 or 30 years now. 30 or 40 years.
Oh, I didn't know you were in that long of a relationship with this art.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I started the art gallery in another millennium ago. And had it downtown.
And-
Downtown in a warehouse space.
Why were you interested in art? When did that begin?
Oh, my family, since my grandfather's age, made picture frames. We were picture frame manufacturers. So I grew up around art and framing and things like that, and would go to exhibits selling frames and framed prints for the
wow.
family company. So I've always been art. Always.
And art events.
No,
Sometimes-
like trade shows.
trade shows. Yeah.
Trade shows.
Was that your parents that
yeah.
had
so
that
cool.
company?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, my
wow.
family.
Your family?
My grandfather's.
Does
time.
it still...
No, they sold it 20 years ago, I guess.
Good
Because
job.
we couldn't compete against the Chinese imports. Yeah.
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 We used to make frames from raw lumber. Sold to Eatons and Simpsons and stuff like that. I did it for a while. I traveled Ontario selling framing.
Oh, wow.
And you were when we met, you were a photographer.
Yeah.
And you were blessing artists in the city of Toronto with the most valuable asset that you can have as an artist trying to build yourself photos. And you'd always take awesome photos.
Well, JP was on stage, so I got used to taking pictures of people on stage.
Yes.
Because of that. And now everybody takes pictures on their iPhone, so you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Although iPhones don't work well.
They
work-
don't?
They don't. Not on stage. You don't see many iPhone. They do, but it's kind of like the general stage. You can't get
Yeah.
any close-ups.
Yeah,
yeah,
you've
yeah.
given me
Yeah.
some great stand-up photos that
Yeah.
I'll still use sometimes
Yeah.
to promote.
I don't take out the real camera too much anymore.
Oh, that's okay. You got a lot going on.
Yeah, supermarket back in the day, JP, Christian, I was around, Branko, a bunch of peeps, and those are just some magical times.
Yeah.
The time in
Have you ever been to
Toronto.
one of Branko's DJ shows? He DJs a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's around.
We've
DJ
seen him
Branko. I've seen
DJ,
him
but
do
I
his
don't
thing,
know
but-
if we've gone to like a
attend.
specific show of
Yeah,
his.
have you?
No, but I've seen him
He's a
a number of
sweetheart.
times.
He's
Certainly
always
at
comes
Free
to-
Fall Sundays.
To our show. Yeah,
Yeah,
free
Free
that's
Fall
what we're
Sundays.
kind of talking about. Shout out
Yeah.
to supermarket.
He's on my list to let's see.
Get him on. Oh, what happened?
We got tangled up here.
Oh, we're good now. We're good.
You okay?
To have on, I thought we should have Branko on because
Oh,
Yeah,
Branko's
he's
be a
down.
great one. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Free Fall Sundays has moved to the Dakota.
Yeah.
It's not at the supermarket
At
anymore.
the supermarket.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
so
I kind of miss the supermarket.
Yeah, those
I don't
are
wanna
some
say-
special
yeah.
days.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything bad about the Dakota because it's a good pub.
No,
It's a good club.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Toronto's blessed with a lot of really cool venues. Yeah.
Losing their jazz venues.
Are we?
Yeah. I mean, losing all venues
Oh.
to make room for like. I don't know if you heard, but the Review Cinema on
Yes.
Ronci just.
Yes.
I don't,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't
They
have.
have to
seen
close their
that.
doors.
They actually just posted something today. They don't yet. So they had until June 30th. Now they've been given an extension. I don't know if that just means
Save the Review.
because they got a petition started and people talked.
Actually, I have an associate who's manager at the Review Cinema. Doug and Janet, two of my closest friends, their son's partner. And I can't remember her name.
As of right now, they don't have to close because the people really got riled up about
Yeah,
it. So I
yeah.
think they have a few more months to see if there's any way that negotiations can happen between them and the landlord. But it would be tough, right? Because I'm sure that the landlord's getting some crazy offer.
Oh, yeah, the developers.
Yeah.
Want to make a condo there or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look what happened to Hughes Room. It was just up the road from there, and it was a great room on it.
Yeah.
Now it's not the
That's,
same.
I mean, that happens
Yeah,
though, right?
time.
People are gonna go
Come
out of
and go.
business and new things are gonna get put in. It'll be interesting to see in like 100 years. Obviously, we won't be in these bodies, but like in 100 years, like what people will fight, like, because everything will be new, or we think it's new because it'll be built now, but they'll be like, let's save this skyscraper. This is like a heritage building.
Sure.
Well,
Rob,
and
what?
the Ontario Science Center.
I know that's a big
that's
petition on
terrible.
that too.
That's
Yeah.
terrible, And now, Bathurst and Bloor. I go to Bathurst and Bloor at the corner now. I
Yeah.
don't know where I am anymore.
Honest Ed's,
Yeah.
baby. I
Oh,
know.
yeah, I used to be Honest Ed's. Yeah.
We've seen Toronto transition quite a bit in 10 years. Yeah.
Speaking of time and like growing things, Rob, you sat usually there and
Yeah, I'm on
watched,
the other side of the camera. Yeah. Yep,
which
yep.
is so great. Often I'm passing you joints, or as I'm checking the camera, you're letting me know this ran out. It's like I feel like I'm so entangled in it and producing the show. I'm curious, to hear what you've seen, or meeting these folks who come through. You like opened up your wonderful studio space to us, and like these crazy kids come through so we can smoke a bunch of weed. How has that been for you to observe this take place in your space?
Yeah, why are you letting us do this?
It keeps me young.
Yes.
I will say
You're very youthful. So let's say.
we talk a lot about like new terms, and like you're really on it. You don't mind moving with the times,
moving
it
with it.
seems.
I do mind moving with the time. I'd rather stay back there in the old times and not move.
Really?
But he does it.
But you're choosing then. You're making an active choice to
I guess so.
learn,
Well, I like younger people, right? I suppose.
Because you're an artist. That's what I feel.
Honestly, though, I feel that too. Even now in my mid 30s, I look at 19, 20-year-olds. I don't necessarily want to hang out with them, but I'm like, there's a vibrancy that
There's an
comes.
energy
Oh
there.
my
You wanna know what
goodness!
it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder if I had that when I was that age.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's buzzing. And I think each serves each other, because like you have wisdom and then just like blind fun energy. And then you start to overlap the two and you start to talk. It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember when you were 19 and met people in their mid-30s?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
And?
my God.
Remember the story, me with the...
I think when we were 19, 20, like 30 was sort of the cap on where we were like hanging out with people.
We were
Like,
in
about,
LA.
About 10 years. Yeah.
Remember
You
Margot?
got a story here. You got a story.
I know,
my
this is
God.
funny. And she makes her cringe. It's
Okay, so I went to AMDA, the American Musical and Dramatic Academy in Los Angeles. I met a very dear friend there. Her name is Margot, and we are actually both from Alberta. She lived in Calgary. I'm sure she wouldn't mind me telling all of her personal information. Anyways,
do you have her address?
her partner at the time was like 30 or close to 30. I think he was in his 30s. I'm not really
He's
sure.
like 30.
Yeah, 30.
Which is...
And we went over to their place for dinner, 11 and I, when we lived there together in 2011. We went over to their place for dinner, and we're all young. Margot is our age, so we're
I'm
like
20. I'm doing stand-up at the
21.
Comedy Store, and it's like, damn, I'm 20. So I'm really attached to being 20 because I got to do it underage. So it's really in my head, right? I'm like, I'm 20, and these people around me are 21, and her mate happened to be like 30. But I had friends back in Vancouver that were always older. I've always had older friends. Case in point. And they were like 27, 28, going more towards 30. And throughout the dinner, it became palpable how much I kept referring to his age, even though it was just like it was just like.
It's like, I have friends who are also of
In
your
your
age, which would be 30, which is 10 years older than I am
I
right
just
now.
kept repeating
and
it.
it just was like, I was like, why does he keep talking about this man's age in his 30s? It was like hours.
And I would
But
walk
we-
around and be like, this is a great place. When you're 30, you got to do this. He just kept coming up.
Yeah, it was a great place, though.
It was. Yeah, it was near the Grove. Anyway, shout out that story. Sorry to that guy, but he didn't care. I was just a young
No,
kid.
he was cool.
Fuck.
30s are good.
He must
Yeah.
be
30s are the best.
in his 40s
Would you say
now.
so? You've seen a couple decades, Rob. What are you, 42?
I'm 30 years away from 42.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's so fun.
Yeah, I think 30s are you still young enough to enjoy it and old enough to know better.
Well
20s you're
said.
not quite there yet.
No.
Yeah,
You're young enough to enjoy it, but you don't know yet.
You're flailing.
Yeah, time really, like, experiencing this body through time, that's the most valuable experience. Like, I didn't know in my 20s that I was going to know more in my 30s, which seems silly
No,
now.
because you think you know it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
But
You made
now
it,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh shit, I don't actually know anything. Now in my 30s, I'm like, I
It's
know
okay. When
nothing.
you get up here, you just forget everything. So you don't have to worry about anything. And you know you've forgotten it all.
Which is amazing. And that's sick because you had a kid at 40, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's awesome. That gives me happy.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Do you
Lots
ha-
do. Lots do now. It's,
Yeah.
it's a thing.
do you have any life wisdom?
Yeah, drop a gem on us.
Is there anything in your years that you're like, oh, if I had known this when I was 20?
Same thing I told the JP all through his life. Go slow, pay attention. That's it. That's it.
Thank you.
And
That
that's
just
really
blessed
that's
us.
really good on a weed podcast too, just for new users.
Go slow.
Go
slow,
slow,
pay
pay attention.
Now, there's some
Check
industries
in.
that you can't go slow in anymore, like when he got into the pop industry.
Yeah,
Pop songs, you can't go slow. You got to
you gotta pound it
Los
out.
Angeles, New
Yeah.
York.
He develops his character though in that
go
mantra
slow, pay
thanks to
attention.
you.
And it
So
applies to everything.
he could
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
move. Yeah.
That's my
Yeah,
life
there's gonna
wisdom.
there's gonna be
good.
some
Thank you.
times when you get on that what is the
Trajection,
escalator,
momentum.
but it's on just
Oh yeah,
you know.
motivator.
when you get on that motivator and you can't just stand still on that.
Yeah,
You're like,
wanna
I'm
walk too,
already
you go,
on
already,
this.
keep going
double.
I'm
faster,
already
faster,
here.
faster.
Yeah. But I feel like if you go slow and pay attention and you create those habits from an early start,
Yeah.
like when you get onto that motivator,
You know how.
you're like, I can still pay attention even though I'm moving at a faster speed than I could
And they
before.
come to an end, you know. The end
Exactly.
goes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, and it's always abrupt.
Isn't it?
Yo, that's so true. That's some overhead wisdom right there too. Things are temporary. Things come to an end.
Motivators end.
Yeah, motivators end. Streaks end.
Do you
Well,
have regrets in your life?
Jeez.
Of course.
Really?
Yeah, of course. How could anybody go through life and not have regrets?
Well, I don't know.
They
I
probably
guess.
didn't try anything.
That shut me up real quick.
Yeah, it's not gonna stop Rob. That's fire.
Well, I guess this idea that like if people live by this idea that everything happens for a reason, like when you make a wrong decision, you don't need to regret it because in your life's path or life journey, that's what was supposed to happen.
Really?
Well, I'm not speaking
know,
necessarily for me.
That's full acceptance. That's total acceptance.
When you look back on life, you can see everything that was supposed to happen because it had already happened.
Yeah.
And you're exactly where you are because of what happened.
Right.
But to think you can be back here and go, well, I know I'm going to be there because this is going to happen. Well, that's a fallacy
Yeah.
because you don't know what's going to happen.
you don't know what's gonna
You don't know
happen.
what's going to happen.
You just gotta keep.
Did you
moving.
think at one point? Because I think in my 20s, I thought I knew what was going to happen. And when that didn't happen, by the time I became 30, I was like, it was extremely scary and disappointing and also very liberating because I was like, oh, I'm free of all of these things I thought I had to be
Should
when I
be.
hit this point in my life. And I'm not any of these things. So, like, you know.
I don't know if I've gotten there yet. I'm still waiting for it to happen.
That's beautiful. The honesty. It's always a good, honest, loving conversation with you, Rob. Appreciate you.
When did your eye for the universe start to really like implement in your art curation? Because you obviously like the universe.
Oh, very, very young. If such a thing ever happened, it happened very young.
Yeah.
Because as I say, I was always around art and involved in art. And,
Yeah.
You know, the house had lots and lots of pictures in it. Some of them artistic, some of them not, some of them original, some of them prints, but there was always art everywhere. I mean, I'll go into a house now and there's 1 or 2 pictures on the wall and I freak out. How can you only have 1 or 2 pictures on your wall?
Yeah, put
Yeah.
some art up.
Yeah. Stuff.
Do you think there is bad art?
Bad art.
Great question. Interesting.
That's a good question, yeah. Makes me think about it.
Because that's kind of contradicts art to say it's
Art is an
good
expression
or
that
bad.
communicates a message.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
Yeah.
putting a value judgment on art, and I don't like to put value judgments on art. There is art that I like more than others, certainly. There's
Yeah.
art that I may think is better than other art, but bad art. Some artist wanted to say something, and okay. I mean, I remember when the sculptures went out on University, and there was this one sculpture on University Avenue that had these wings that went way out over the streets. It looked fabulous, and everybody complained that the wings were too big. And so they had to cut down the wings on this little critter, and now it has these tiny little...
Cut the wings off.
cut the
What
wings
a
off.
metaphor.
And because they thought that was bad art. you know,
Right.
And so, no, I don't
So when
think
you
such
say
thing
like
as
you don't
bad
like
art.
to put a value on art, like when artists are, want to pursue a life and career in art and they need to start selling their art, how does one judge how much their art is worth?
Visual.
How much the art dealer can sell it for.
The demand.
Yeah,
So
the
there's-
demand,
so-
the demand,
so you-
the hype that can be built around it.
Okay.
I mean, if you can get a gorilla to paint a painting, and some art dealer comes out and says, "Hey, look, this gorilla did it with his mouth," and they sell it for $5,000, and that happens.
Yeah.
And that's disgusting. I mean, if they want to sell for $5, fine. The value of the paint and the brushes that got used, but don't tell me the gorilla is making $5,000 or $10,000 art.
Right.
The putting a value judgment on art is something I've always struggled with, and with my artists, because it literally is whatever you can get.
Yeah.
That's so
Which
fucking
has
true.
very little to do with the art,
Yeah.
and everything to do with what you can get.
Holy shit, dude. That perspective is incredible.
Did you ever hear
OG
about
art.
that invisible piece of art that got bought for like $80,000?
I haven't heard that one.
It was
It was
it
literally
was up
just
on one of
nothing.
like these posts essentially,
And they're
like and there was nothing on top of it, not even that phone, and it was labeled as a piece of art, and someone bought it, and
What a
we
con.
don't know how it
What a
got
con.
transported
Yeah.
to their home.
Yeah,
is
they're like,
the
okay,
only
you
thing.
have it now.
And didn't
There you go.
Bansky-
Just create a little space.
Didn't Bansky sell a piece of art and then burn it right after it had sold?
Yes, it was on the wall, and as soon as it got auctioned, it triggered and it shredded itself.
Yeah.
As soon as somebody bought it, it shredded itself.
Yeah.
We'll put it up here on
Now
our
that's a
video.
perfect example of it's all about the hype.
Yes.
But that concept's that's good hype.
Well, that's
great.
Banksy being a badass, because he agrees with you in that OG art perspective, where it's like he's almost on some next level shit where he's like, this world, including money, is just something to be kind of played with, like overall, and like his art pieces like bang so deeply, like it's such meaningful art, like even though it's just stencils or whatever, and he goes around buildings. We have one here in Toronto, where he just puts a stencil on a building and like somehow
Where
confirms
is it in
it's him. Right down near Bar Cathedral, actually.
Yeah, on the just off of the Esplanade.
The bottom
and
of church.
Oh, take a picture of it and send it to me.
Yeah, I have a picture. I'll send it to you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, how?
I often wonder if the one down at the bottom of this street, it's kind of Bansky-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Berkeley and King, there's a white building there.
Huh?
Yeah,
two
that's
kids
interesting.
carrying a flag.
How does this get confirmed that it's a piece?
There's the official Bansky group, which is really ugly too. And has anybody talked to any? Have you seen the new Bansky show?
Yeah,
No.
who the fuck is doing that? Because I know he's not.
The first one was done by Live Nation,
So,
and
no
I went
way.
to it, and it was so not Bansky. I mean, it was his work, but it was so not what he would do.
Yeah.
But it was also the guy who took all the photographs of him through the years.
Oh.
So you had to have some respect for this guy because he had followed him around and gone through the effort.
Okay,
I had
so-
a feeling they weren't friends.
It was a documentary show. Yeah, he doesn't. B doesn't want to be traced.
No.
He doesn't want to be documented.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So like this guy.
Maybe 100 years from now, but not now.
Yeah, that's so.
I was curious about that show. So the show that's going on right now.
I haven't been to it, so I can't comment.
Okay, but is it actual pieces or is it photographs of pieces?
It's like if someone did a show on Tupac right now, and this was done in September, and it's in '99 in San Francisco, and then it's just a gallery. It's like an exhibition, I believe. No, because it's not him. It's
I
definitely
feel
not him.
like
Yeah,
I
but
ha-
did they tear his pieces down off a wall or a bridge somewhere?
I don't know.
And transport it to the show.
is that
There
how
may-
do they would that
there
be
may
the
be one
building
or two
owner
of,
that
there may
could
be
sell
one or
that?
two.
Yeah.
Oh, there's controversies like this, like crazy. There's a couple
Yeah.
of movies out about this stuff, exactly on Bansky's work. And,
Selling his art,
selling
even
his
though-
art.
yeah.
And some guy went and took one down off of a bridge, and did he have the right to do that?
Yeah.
And then the official Bansky group wouldn't authorize it, so it really wasn't a Bansky, but it was a Bansky because Bansky did it. I mean, it's a whole con game.
Wow,
Oh, yeah,
it
it's a
must be
big one.
trippy to be this guy.
To be Bansky?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, geez.
And,
He
like-
loves it,
And no one knows. He's like Batman.
or she,
She? Fuck.
We'll never know.
or they.
That's
You never know.
or
fucked
them.
up. I've done that a lot recently where we're referring to someone successful in the shadows or someone that I don't know, and automatically I use he, him pronouns.
A
Bansky
success.
may be female.
Yeah, Banksy may be female.
All right. I
think
hadn't even
about that.
thought of course, yeah.
Or
why
could
not?
be several people.
I don't think it's several people.
I'm just saying it could be two. It could be like the disposal.
It just feels.
It could be a team.
It
could be a husband and wife
feels
team.
well. It could be a team, but it feels so. You look at the pieces and you think, oh, I can see the see-through line. Like it's like on an album where you're like, oh, these are all different songs,
but by
it's-
one
it's
artist, you
one
can tell.
artist
Yeah.
who has an
Yeah,
intention.
no, you do feel
Yeah.
the Bansky. They're all.
You can feel the
Yeah, you
intention. He has like a socio-political
Yeah.
fucking overhead with his like cool
Yeah.
composition. So he's like boom boom. It's
Yeah,
like,
but he's got a style.
He has
you
his own
know
style.
it's a Bansky.
Yeah.
Or a copy of one.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how I always would define whether an artist had really become something of an artist.
if you can tell.
When you could tell that their work, and you'd see a piece of theirs
Yes.
someplace else, I know it was their work.
Yes.
That's when I knew an artist really had struck upon something. That's
Yeah.
how I would judge my artist.
In the music world, we'll say like, it's like, you made it when it will be like, 11 type beat on YouTube, or like Slim Shady type beat, or like
Yeah.
the game type beat, or So it's like exactly, it's the same thing. If you ring a familiar sound, or if you have like a frequency almost that you exist on, that's such the power of artists. There's the medium of art, whether it be like visual or audio or whatever, or even like performance, it's so crazy because it can carry a message that can like break through like
Time.
boundaries, like limits. Like it's like you can get something from a piece of art or a song, or even just the reminder that we're not alone in space, like through art. That's so powerful. So what a great thing you've been involved with your whole life. Congrats. Art is special like that.
Did you ever try and leave art?
Sure. I got married. I had a child. I had to get a real job.
Yeah.
You know.
Securities,
art.
right?
Yeah.
This is why I don't think the child thing. I don't want a job.
I brought
I
that
don't want
up
a
again.
job. I don't want a real job. I did that for a little while.
We built a podcast.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm trying to get you guys into the podcast, becoming a real job.
I don't want that job. I want people to pay me to show up places and drink kombucha.
You want to be a
In
club
cham-
girl?
in
What do you?
in champagne flutes. Yes, except the club that I want to
You
go
wear
to is
short
like.
black dresses and high boots.
No, I'd like to wear something like this.
Yeah. So just stick with Discipline Stoners, and we will.
In Joshua Tree, maybe.
Yeah, Joshua Tree. That's cool. Well, fuck, nice. What's the top favorite place you've traveled to in your lifetime, Rob?
I have fond memories of Copenhagen.
Copenhagen.
Copenhagen was a really nice town.
This
I
is
like
in
Copenhagen.
Europe.
Yeah.
Did you go and work there?
Well, you asked me where I traveled, so I had to think of some travels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty artsy there, no?
Yeah, I was 19, so sun was up a lot.
You're like,
but
I
it was-
remember
it was a
feeling
great
good.
little
I
town.
don't
felt
exactly.
good. When I think of a town, that was a good place.
In Copenhagen. Is that Germany?
Yeah.
No, Denmark.
Denmark, sorry. I knew that.
You got
No,
me thinking for a minute.
it's Caucasian
Yeah,
people
Oh, I
who
didn't.
talk
I thought
kind
it was
of
in
like
Germany.
this.
No, yeah, Denmark.
I don't know the globe.
And what did you do when you went there? Was it just like sunrises all day?
I remember I went into a dance hall at sunset and I came out at sunrise.
yeah, the discotheques were
the
huge in
discotheques.
Europe.
Yeah, exactly. It was fun.
That's
And there was a
awesome.
lot, like my mom would go, she started going when she was like
Danish.
13, 14, but there was no alcohol at these ones. But they were just, you could go as young people and go out and dance the night away.
Dance the night away.
What else I've been here?
Okay.
Well,
That was so beautiful.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you for joining us, Rob.
yeah, thanks. That was so fun.
Here's to many more.
Yeah.
More blessed, more life. Thank you.
And come check out the MetaMilky Way. Check
Yeah.
out this
It's
beautiful.
got an IG page,
Yeah, well, we always post it. But we'll
which
put
you've
it.
got to be on. I want you on the IG page.
Okay, great.
Dancing in the MetaMilky Way.
He
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
know that I'm a horrible dancer.
Yeah, she is. Can you tell just before we leave a little bit like what you had built and what you've been through with your eyeball?
Well-
just a little bit of this project. The AAR or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mounted the John Lomberg show just as the pandemic started. Mm-hmm. So I knew that people couldn't come see it, and what was I going to do with it? So, and I'd been doing a show at the Art Gallery of Ontario, the AGO, and seen a piece in augmented reality, a buffalo that you could walk around and look at the buffalo, and I thought, wow, art, and people can walk into the art. And I was just fascinated with the idea that actual people could enter the piece of art.
Yes.
And I knew that John's work and people entering space, I mean, that's great. So you can actually walk into it and walk around a planet and stuff like this. And I just wish I knew AR better. You know, I had to hire people to do it for me.
on
John-
new software.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, John, I was able to do it with John's work because all his work is printed in Photoshop, or a lot of his work. I mean, he does original paintings, but when he worked with Carl Sagan, he was working on the book. Carl Sagan's got a book out called Cosmos, and a number of the paintings in there were done in Photoshop, and it's John's work in Photoshop. So I was able to access one of his works in Photoshop on 7 or 8 different levels. So the piece you see behind me is just the base level.
Yes.
And then there's these 8 levels in front of you that you can walk in.
And you're holding like an iPad.
You see it on the iPad.
Yeah, and you move around, and the relative distance between each planet like stays as you
you
walk
get
through.
closer to
It's
some
really
and further
cool.
away from others. Yeah,
It's really
and
cool.
The people are walking around. You're taking pictures of them. It's really interactive.
We've put a few
Quick
quick
yeah.
shots
in
in different
Angelica's,
podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, not very often because we
Well, you
don't
know,
get that video
go
very
to,
often.
Go
but
to the IG page, MetaMilky
Yeah.
Way. Meta.
Go there.
Milky Way.
Meta,
Meta
Milky Way.
Milky Way.
Go there.
And if
Yeah,
somebody
check it.
offers me $100,000 for the name,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Okay, you've heard it here first.
On the 200th episode, everybody.
I love it. So exciting. Yeah, go check out that page and see the cool art things that Rob is up to. And yeah,
And thank you so much
beautiful
for letting us
gratitude.
live here.
Thank you. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me on.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Gratitude. Pardon my reach. Let me get this watermelon.
Watermelon?
No, you gotta teach me what that thing you do.
This is delicious. Thank you.
This?
What is that?
I'm diagnosed Tourette's.
That's your Tourette's move?
That's my Tourette's move that I've like channeled in here. Pop those on.
Oh, yeah.
I've like channeled it into a singular motion that feels like properly expressive. So like Asian medicine or Chinese medicine my dad studied when I was growing up, like left is in and right is out. So I'd always feel this urge to my body, and I used to go like this, and I used to go like just all sorts of different ticks. I thought about what if I drive the energy back in through like my heart center, and it works, and it like becomes like like micro.
You ever see the Community with Childish Gambino?
Yeah.
And when they do that,
I love how you
handshake,
go- yeah.
and then
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
they smack
The Ahmed.
Ahmed and Troy. They
Yeah.
do that pap, pap, the
Yeah.
1-2, pap pap. So now
That was my favorite relationship. And when he didn't come back to the show, I was like,
it was gone. It was
yeah,
over.
that friendship was that was a good bromance, on-screen bromance.
Right.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
now, what we gotta do now is we gotta be like, my man, pap, pap, pap.
Yeah. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Turn it into a handshake now, you know?
Exactly,
Maybe-
dude.
You guys are in sync for that. I wouldn't. Oh my God! Stop it!
Let's go.
I wouldn't
And
be
then
able
if
to
you're-
get that shit.
And if you're close to a service, here you are. Okay, here we go.
Norm, you got the rhythm, bro. You got this divine rhythm.
It was so lovely
Rhythm,
to see
rhythm,
you.
down, so hands up, down, so you can really, really, yeah.
Yeah, we got to see you do a musical show not too long ago.
I love what you do. Yeah, that's right. Hey, another guest on episode. What? You're King Rob. We're blessed with so much watermelon. Bless you, Rob. Thank you.
Hey, Rob, do you know what they call watermelon in Filipino?
What?
It's half of Tupac. Pakwan. Yeah. We call it pakwan.
You're the best. Thank you.
Yeah.
Pakwan.
Pakwan.
So,
You trying to have some pakwan, bro?
yeah, when you have sex when a Filipino has sex with a watermelon, they have to pakwan. Happy Filipino Heritage Month, folks.
Happy Filipino Heritage Month.
Happy Pride.
Thank you for coming through and blessing us on episode 200.
200.
For
Yeah.
y'all that don't
Two
know,
hundies.
you do know, this is Norm. This is Big Norm. Dude, you are so fucking funny. You're a legendary comedian, and you're just like doing a thing strong out here representing.
And this is the second appearance on the show. If you haven't watched his first episode, it is you blew my mind. I was just like
He's in our home.
basically like in shock the whole time you were.
Yeah, you've had quite the story. Blazing
So
up
go
that
back and
blood.
watch that,
Oh,
please.
man. But yeah, you're the real deal stoner, man.
Multi-talented.
Wait, isn't that?
Multifaceted.
I swear that episode,
Artist.
I had just started coming back to. I just started smoking weed again too at the time.
Dude.
Really?
We are
so.
always your return back into...
I think
I mean, you
returned
were
slowly back.
rolling nonstop. It was like it started and
Yeah.
and you kept it moving.
My man is not scared of the weed. But you
Never
recently did a really cool... I got the pleasure of hopping on keys for you, doing your thing. You recently did a show. You do a musical thing. You do a comedy thing.
It's just baby calf growth hormone. Why are we shoving it on our face? It's just baby hormones in your heart.
And you've just been out here. Actually, your
Acting.
cooking is amazing.
Why, thank you. Why, thank
You're
you.
just a multi-talented dude, man.
Do you ever think, oh, I should stop doing other forms of art and just focus on one?
Yeah, but my problem is the reason why I do so many art forms is because I don't know how to focus on one. I have ADHD. I'm not diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I have it because when I get bored and I feel the need to move on, I do just that. And then I learn a new skill, and then it's just like, oh, Norm, you're so talented. I'm like, or I'm just bored.
Yeah, that's sick too. I think
You
a
know?
lot of geniuses are just bored and they just want to expand their consciousness some way.
Yeah, and I mean, before they diagnosed ADHD as ADHD, they used to call it boredom.
Exactly. This kid is bored.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
Because they wanted to sell Ritalin,
Yeah, facts. We know about
they
it.
needed to create a diagnosis. So
about it.
ADHD.
Talk about it.
So
Dude.
now I'm just constantly bored. So I have to stimulate myself, and I stimulate myself by doing other things
God
that,
bless
that
that.
that I enjoy. I enjoy music naturally.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy cooking for people because I just feeding people is a very satisfying gesture.
Yes.
And
Well said.
comedy is just another thing, making people laugh. Another commendable gesture. It makes you feel good, making other people feel good.
Totally.
And then everything else that I do is just aligns with that. And, you know, the people that I was around, they influenced it too. But
These are all connective things. All the things that you said. We have a lot of crossover, I feel, of the role we'd like to play as a manifested spirit. We're like, I'll soothe you. If it's like music or comedy or food, they're all soothing.
yes.
They all like bring you back to like that feeling of connectivity. Like you can break bread with someone that you don't even know, or you come from completely different backgrounds and feel like you don't understand each other, but watch that motherfucker react to umami.
And you like everything that I've seen you do is like pretty high level in terms of just skill. If it's a piece of content, it looks really good. Like we saw you shared your show with
Your
us,
cooking
your cooking show
show.
with us, and like I talked about it today. I was like, that's a
What up? That's me, Big Norm, stand-up comedian, cannabis enthusiast, and a guy that loves good old-fashioned soul food cooking. I'm gonna show you a thing or two about cooking with cannabis. Welcome to the goodies. Today, I'm gonna teach you my famous Kush cornbread recipe. If Patti LaBelle and James Brown had sex on the Redenbacher estate and had a baby, that baby would be this Kush cornbread recipe right here. Soul on a skillet with a touch of titillating THC. But first, let's get some ingredients. Papo! Hey, you piece of basura. Arnis. You know the story of Moses in the burning bush? Yeah. I want that burning bush. I want something like it was grown out the Garden of Eden in triple mixed soil that it was made from angel feces. Bro, just give it to me. What do we got?
That's an insane piece of content for real.
Just moving in talented ways.
Yeah. So like for outside looking in, it's like you're really just good at a bunch of stuff. So it almost makes sense that you would continue to pursue every avenue because that just gives you a better opportunity of like which one's gonna pop off first.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's a mix of ADHD and OCD. You know, it's just like having. It has to be perfect. I got it. It has to look like this.
So is that suffocating sometimes? That perfection mentality?
It is time consuming. Because as a graphic designer, I go through like 4 different designs before I land on the 5th one. I'm like, there it is. That's it. But I need to do the process of elimination to get to that. And it's so weird because I hate that procrastination has been my crutch in the sense that like pressure is what pushes me to get the job done. So I always tell somebody if I have a deadline, tell me 3 days before the actual deadline so that I'm freaking out. I'm like, I gotta finish this. And that pressure will force out the best idea. Instead of me like, let me try this. When I start projects early, I'll be like, nah, it's waste time. I don't like this one. Waste time. I don't like this one. And I spent like hours on 4 different designs. And then last 5 hours before I got to submit, the best idea pops up. I'm like, fuck, I spent all this time working on these 5 different things or 4 different ideas.
Do you think
only for the 5th one to be the best one to choose?
Do you think that it's because you kind of massaged and explored those different frequencies and then it becomes clearer to you through the process of elimination, or you think you just get closer to God the closer the time comes to actually pass it in?
That's that pressure, man, because sometimes I won't even do anything. I'll procrastinate, not even do one design. And then in that last 5 hours, I gotta come up with something and I don't have time to make 4. And then it'll just come and bubble straight to the surface.
I get that. I understand that. Sometimes you gotta like anchor yourself in just a function. And then like the simple function of something and then make it bang and then put a little accent on it and that's it.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Pressure makes diamonds, right?
Yeah.
Pressure busts
and that's
pipes.
It feels like it doesn't make sense to work that way. It's like, why would you put yourself in sort of this like under stress situation? But maybe that's just how some people are meant to move through things, you know?
I perform very well under duress.
Yeah. You from a good neighborhood, kid?
Do you enjoy it? Is there a part of you that enjoys a little bit of that? Whatever
excitement.
You're getting in that.
It's excitement.
I really wish that I could fully enjoy it. I embrace it because I know that's like...
Embrace.
I embrace it, but I'm just like, fuck. Oh, why does this always have to happen this way?
Yeah.
But I guess so, you know. Nothing good comes out of comfort, you know. All the amazing things that happen in this world came from a fucked up situation.
You know, that's very true with art, but also like there's something rock starish about it too. Like you definitely have like a beautiful unicorn energy of rock starness, and it's like Norm slides in last minute, makes the best.
Oh, buddy.
Like, you're like, I
There's
get it.
nothing.
You're a star, bro. You know what I mean?
Thank
Like you
you,
gotta
man.
shine that light, bro. You gotta come in on your flow. You can't cage this man.
Thank you, man. Yo, Chris Robinson, shout outs to him. He has one of the funniest jokes I've ever heard, where like that feeling of running down the steps when the train comes, and you just make it through just as it's closing, and you're like, you get through, and you're like, oh, I fucking made it.
Yes.
I made the train.
You know?
That feeling is the feeling I feel when I get that last home run.
Okay,
in
nice.
the ninth inning, two
It's-
down.
You raise the stakes
so
on yourself.
The outcome then is probably more exciting than if you would have taken like this long, luscious time and like planned everything. And
Yeah.
it's probably just like I did it.
Yeah,
No,
it is exactly that because, yeah, man, when you lower your expectations, whatever happens always seems that much better. So whenever you're like, and if it goes bad, at least it met the low expectations you had, right? But
Drop
when
the
you
floor on
slide
yourself.
when you slide in a home plate thinking you're gonna be out and then you're safe, that feeling of like, oh fuck, I should have never doubted myself in the first place.
Dude, you know what it is? That's romantic. That's romantic as fuck.
It is toxic, is what that is. It's fucking.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
It's romantic, but sometimes romance is toxic, man. Let's
Yes.
be real. Like,
It is.
you know when you hear "Ain't no mountain high enough," have you seen Mount Everest?
Because there's some mountains that are real high.
God,
Yeah.
that's kind of toxic for you to expect me to
I know. What's with
climb a mountain or like "Ain't no valley low." Have you seen the freaking Grand Canyon? I would never.
Yeah.
And
facts.
if you want me to do that, I don't know. That's the things people would do for women or men in songs back in the day.
I was gonna say, how about that? Sometimes, like, they would just the craziest shit that like made no sense and was completely unrealistic, and actually set real relationships up for like disappointment by like saying how much they'd say, I'd give it all. It's like, no, I wouldn't.
What about remember this song by Inner Circle? When he's like, standing across the room, boom, boom, I saw you smile. And before I make my move, my emotions start running wild. My tongue gets tight, but that's no. But there's that one point where he's just like, you know, I've been watching you, a la 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 long, a la 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 long, 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 just in a corner, just watching through the crowd, just, you know, like that's.
Yeah.
Is this
You-
push it,
and he
push
wants
it
to
some
make
more?
it some more. He used to make you
Yeah.
sweat. Yeah.
And
And then
It's
it's,
a
like as
crazy
he's watching her from afar, all he's thinking is like, "Girl, I want to make you sweat, sweat till you can't sweat no more." Oh, oh. If she can't sweat no more, is that because she's dead?
Dehydrated.
What are you talking?
She's not
And
well.
if you cry out, I'm gonna push it some more.
That sounds scary
It
to
sounds
me.
scary.
I was
as
gonna
fuck.
say, like,
It
as
sounds like he's stabbing her to death.
or it sounds like, if you think about it in sex, if you have a longer penis and there's a shallow vagina and
Oh,
you're
man.
pushing it, and she's like,
she's like,
that's
"My
too
cervix!
deep. And he's like,
Oh!"
I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna put, that's pretty
Yeah.
harsh.
So
Nah,
I
wrong
was
cocky.
I was loving on that song at like 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't know. But I was just like a little 8-year-old, like,
know?
push it,
Like with a
some
little
more."
bit of this and a little bit of that. That's a good song.
It is a good song.
My tongue gets tied, but it's always that reggae that reggae vibrato.
You're nailing it.
Tongue get tied.
You fucking.
No light. Standing across the room.
I will say
wanna
it's a
talk about it?
fucking jam, though. Holy, I
Great
love that
jam.
So
song.
good.
Bro, you're when I started stand up, I started doing impressions, and I noticed that that's the gift of emulation, to be able to like recreate. You almost mentally record it and recreate it like perfectly, and I feel like you have that gift and you channel it through like these like different voices that you can do. That's so on point, like
Thank you.
which like I love that style of music. Obviously I do a form, it's like music and then comedy. I think you do like comedy music, but like either way they're a beautiful blend together. And I've always watched people like, remember, Jamie Foxx and like the Foxhole and stuff.
Come on now.
The
That's what inspired me to be a comedian, bro.
Bro, and like the Brady Bunch remix, and he does it in the different voices. And he's like, what if it was my man Luther? Brady, and then Prince.
Brady Bunch. I said. Brady Bunch, Brady is
driving me crazy to think them is Brady. And then Prince.
So good.
So that's the funny thing, man. I do a joke about Prince. I do a joke about D'Angelo, and a lot of it is derived from that special. And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, am I copying or am I just like paying homage?
No,
like,
we need it, bro. You're being you, and it's in that form. And we're all an inspiration. We're all just like a bag of like a little bit of this and a little bit of that. A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah, and like, it is an impression of sorts or an impersonation. So like lots of people have their takes on artists, right?
Yeah, I feel like we're not even that different as human beings, let alone mental designs of the things that inspire us. Like there's only so many archetypes, right? There's only like types of beings, so many ways that a being can manifest. Like, do you ever look around and you see like other folks like that kind of look like you or like fulfill an archetype version of yourself? Like you look around, you're like, you can only be like a little bit of that guy and a little bit of that guy and a little bit of that guy and that guy, and then like you're the amalgamation of that. I feel like we're the same way mentally.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who am I? What am I made of? Like,
Yeah.
I'm one part Jamie Foxx,
Yeah.
2 parts Scarborough, 1/4 cup Hoodman, 1/4 cup Churchman,
Yeah.
1/8 cup Sweeterman, 1
This is the Toronto guy.
1/6 cup Rude Boy. and then like a lot of sauce just drizzled all over it. Yeah?
I feel like that you explained that in the first bit, the Toronto Mets. Dude, that's sick.
If you like could choose out of all of your skills right now in your life, if there was one that like took off, like it just had to, it was gonna blow up, and you had to follow that, which lane would you choose that to be?
I want to say comedy
Yeah.
because comedy to me is the hardest thing, and I don't know. I would just love to be respected through my comedy skills. Music is one of those things where when you can do it, people will respect it and enjoy it. But it's not something that, like, you could be funny, but then to be funny on a stage, it's a totally different thing.
I agree.
You could sing, like, some people can sing on stage, but then sometimes the people that sing off stage are like, what are you doing not singing on stage? But they could still live there without having to be on stage. People could still live there being funny without being on stage, but there's just something about the art of comedy that's just so challenging that if I know I'm the most successful at that, it's just the most gratifying feeling because it's the hardest thing to do.
I love
it.
You got the grit, bro. You got the love. You're in it for the long haul. That's what's up. That's what people really feel from you, and that's why you're able to connect with any audience you step in front of and do your thing.
I feel though music though is the more go-to just because it's easier and it's kind of already embedded in me.
Right.
Comedy, I still have to work and like try and be funny and try and say the right things. Whereas music, like,
Do you write jokes?
hardly.
right? You just kind of freestyle with them a little bit, no?
I have the jokes that
Beat.
like I've told, and then I'm like, okay, now I know how to say this.
Right.
Tweak it, whatever, go up. But I don't ever write a joke out word for word. However, like through musical theater, I was forced to learn how to memorize words and scripts, and
Sick.
I learned those are transferable skills into comedy. I'm like, okay, I gotta start writing my shit out. There is merit in writing.
Do you have an idea of like what success looks like in comedy, or is that just like a day by day basis
Wherever
of
it takes
feeling
you.
wherever your current show is and how that goes?
See, like, I respect the process. I respect the craft. I respect the journey, and I've seen so many different journeys that people have gone through in comedy. Like, my OGs, John Paul, Keith Pedro, Ron Jossel, Trix, all these guys have went their own direction in comedy. Keith did it with, 4 kids and a wife. John Paul did it with a wife, 3 kids, dog,
Wow.
house. Then you got Ron Jossel, been doing it 30 years, traveled everywhere, has made a shitload of money off of it, has made nothing off of it all at the same time, but like has had his ups, had his downs, just recently went viral, so now there's a new resurgence in his career.
Yay,
And then he got the old
30
catalog.
years in,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah, that's insane.
that's insane.
People are
that,
gonna
like,
go clock his old shit.
But also very exciting to be
Yeah.
able to have that opportunity. That's new. That's a new opportunity,
Right?
like because of the internet.
And seeing that, I'm like, which journey do I want to travel in? And I sometimes get into this habit of thinking I have to do it that way because that person did it that way, or they did it this way, so do it that way. That has to be the right way. But you can never really say that person's the right way for you. It worked for them. You could take whatever you want to take from it, but
Okay.
You'll have a different path unique to you for sure that will unfold with all the perfect opportunities that align with your talents. That's what I feel.
like since I've made the decision to really release my music bag into comedy and to everything else that I do, and
Yeah.
like, because there's certain people that know me from back in the day from when I was a singer, but only the background people know that I got it like that.
Yeah.
So
Share that gift, bro.
everyone's like, "Yo, what? You had this in your bag, Norm?" I'm like,
It's your secret skill.
I was
I've
just
been had this is the first thing I had before
Yeah.
funny and before cooking and all that stuff.
But that's like its own resurgence for your already like fan base, right? They're like, "What?" That's a very exciting
And-
thing to drop on people.
And it's cool to have not only another place to go, but you're like, okay, I wanted to train with y'all as a comedian without, like doing the thing. Like I get that. Like you wanted to refine that form specifically with people who are training for that.
Yeah.
And then later, if that can add, great. But let that form fully as an artist. That's beautiful.
It's like I'm.
Train jabs with a boxer.
I was gonna say I was Brazilian jiu-jitsu for so long, but they're like, "Hey man, in MMA you still gotta learn how to, oh, you're passing me.
No, I'm
He's
pounding
passing me
it.
the thing. You gotta learn some Greco-Roman. You gotta learn some Muay Thai. You gotta learn all
What are you
the
gonna do
other
on the
things,
ground?
yeah.
So you could take these guys to the ground, but what if they have good takedown experience? So now you got where's your standing game? You know what I mean? That's where I'm at with.
Yeah, dude, it is.
And somebody else also, like, a lot of comedians were like, "Yo, Norm, like, it's time to release that to the world because, like you said, you've already paid your dues and respected the craft. You've learned what you're supposed to." Because early I realized, singing is my way out. But then I felt the need, like, no, but you can't only rely on that. Make sure your jokes are good too. Yeah. So that when both of them together, it's like, oh no, he's not a one-trick pony. He's actually nice.
Yeah, you got to be nice with it all around.
Nice with it.
Can't have any like shadow pieces where it's like, oh, you're not like a holistic performer on stage. It's you got to be able to like present everything as one. That's why I love the days of like I'm so inspired by like Sammy Davis Jr., T. Martin, Frank Sinatra, like the Rat Pack days, because I mean, I kind of feel like I try and channel that energy when I do a show. It's like, we're going to banter for a bit, we'll do a song, and then we'll banter. And I love that about you. You're kind of like, you get somewhere. Yeah, I know. 7 Days Jr. And a little tap dance for you here. He does his tap dance. You know what the Sammy tap dance?
Oh, man.
Dude.
All those guys were amazing
Dance.
dancers.
Everything. Like, yeah. I love that shit,
Do you
bro.
dance?
It's beautiful.
I can boogie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the answer.
I'm sure
Now,
you.
I did when I was doing that musical theater
Yeah.
thing. It was called Prison Dancer. So
Yeah, I love that,
I had
bro.
to learn, how to do the Pippin, and like I had to do Paul de Berets and New York.
All right.
and,
Yeah. So yeah.
So I had to learn some choreography, and that was the most challenging thing I ever did in my life.
Yeah. Choreography's crazy.
Choreography is nuts.
I want you to check the time just because I haven't been keeping track.
Yeah, I'm
And
just realizing now.
5:56. I gotta go.
We gotta roll.
Okay.
Bro,
Thank you so
bless
much.
you. Thank you for stopping by. Episode 200 is
my
like,
man.
oh, so blessed.
We
with your
did
energy.
it.
Thank
We
you.
had a good time.
thank you.
Thank you for being alumni of the show.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
It is very impressive when I tell people that you've been on the show. So thank you.
Thank you. And let me tell you this much. This is the most disciplined I've ever been when it comes to smoking weed in my entire life.
What?
I'm the most disciplined stoner I've ever been.
Congratulations.
I've my 40th year on this world, I smoked the least amount of weed in 20 plus years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Because I
right.
had
Go.
like a 3-month break, another 3 month, another 2 months. So I really only smoked for like 4 months this year.
Dude.
4 months of smoking
6
weed
months, that's-
in comparison to every day 356,
Yeah.
365. Is that what?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
56, 65,
You
somewhere
know,
around there.
if that's what you needed
Yeah.
at the time,
400 days a
that's
year I
okay,
was
too.
smoking. Okay? 420 days a year,
50 hours a day.
50, 24, 9.
10 days a week. Bro, bless you.
Yeah, bless.
Thank you.
And thank you
I-
for bringing your talent and skill to the world.
Yeah,
Hey man, you need to
sharing
let
that
them
light.
know you got pipes too. Both of y'all got pipes, man.
Oh, we out here, bro.
You guys should come out with your own little freaking.
I'd drag her on stage with me.
Yeah.
When we do our show,
We're trying.
Winnie did a good job. She
All
did
right.
this clip. She had to, we are Russia. I'll put it here. You'll see it.
What's your? Is there a song that you enjoy harmonizing to?
Harmonizing. Oh, yeah. Special by Dram.
Oh.
1,
No,
2,
I
3.
it's
Come on,
too
do it.
much pressure.
You are very special. You're special too. Everyone is special. This I know is true when I look at you.
Yo, honestly,
know it.
that's I know a little bit, but I also forgot. But that's like church training on how to find notes and stay.
Oh my God, yeah,
freaking
that was very
in harmony.
impressive.
That was fucking awesome.
job.
Bro,
on.
I love doing that shit. I'll listen to shit and just find
It
the
feels
harmony.
good.
But
That's
some
beautiful.
people find it fucking annoying. They're like, oh, that one fucking annoying friend that's just trying to find the harmonies.
But
when
it
there's-
always sounds so good. It's so enjoyable
doing
for
like-
your earlobes.
You did it when you were singing Happy Birthday. You know, when you're like, instead of going Happy Birthday to, there's that one person that's like, Happy Birthday to you.
Because it sounds great.
Yes, but you guys are in harmony.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
for
in
having me.
harmony. Blessings.
Thank you for coming through.
Episode 200. I think we're going to end it there. Mwah. Bless yourselves. Bless others. Check out Norm.
Bless others in Barcelona. Okay.
And
Español.
have the watermelon and it's the
Yeah.
back one.
Congratulations to us.
Have the
Back one.
back one.
Back one, back two, back three. Hot.
Bless you, bro.
Welcome to Disciplined Stoners, the gateway drug to mindfulness. Look deeper.
To think that we started this podcast to fight a stigma, only to uncover so much love that we realized that you can't put your energy anywhere but what you want.
Look deeper.
And what we want is authentic conversation. What we want is quality medicine. What we enjoy is each other.
We get to learn from our guests. Man is the best. I would manifest this.
Part of the magic of the plant is how it uncovers what you've been hiding away.
So much love.
Look deeper. Feel more. Tune in.
So much love. Look deeper.
We're not here to be lazy.
Welcome to Disciplined Stoners.
We're not here to distract ourselves.
The gateway drug to mindfulness.
We're here to learn. We're here to grow.